What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Sorry I've been away for a couple days. I just needed a bit of personal time. As you know, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes where I just wasn't really in the mood to make a video. You know, it's a real shame that, sometimes reality becomes just a little too much. And this is one of those times where, I've been defaulting into my hobbies, in this case, sports cards and Transformers, which, by the way, to my sports card customers over at eBay, the Carolina Collector 001. I have a few auctions that'll be ending within the next couple days. Plus, I did a really hard relist. I believe I have over 180 listings at the time of this video, so go check that out. The link is in the description box below. Like always, thank you so much to each and every single one of you for your kind words, your advice, your support of myself, and supporting each other. If it wasn't for these hobbies, I mean, life would just be so much more difficult. So anyway, I wanted to revisit this, and I really wanted to do something easy because I really want to review that Studio Series Optimus Prime. But I really don't feel like tinkering with that. So I wanted to do something that was a little more easy, and I figured this would be a good time to revisit this. This is the knockoff Megatron, which came out fairly recently. I got mine in two separate boxes. I do have a complete review of this guy on my channel. Go check it out. And it's not really all that bad, but it's got its issues, and many other content creators complained about the same things that I did. And, I sought to mitigate those issues, which I'll get into here in a little bit. And what I wanted to do in this video is not just talk about solving some of the problems that this knockoff Megatron has, but I want to sticker him up in the way we saw him back in the 80s. Now, this is my 16 Special Megatron, and this is my Goodbye Megatron right here from the movie 2-pack. And they're great Megatrons in and of themselves, but I didn't want to sticker these guys up because I wanted them to be semi-cartoon accurate. And they didn't have all of those weird details like the sticker sheet has, so I kept these guys pretty much plain Jane, so to speak. Even though this guy has tamper-graphed Decepticon symbols, this is not tamper-graphed. That's actually a label or a sticker. I actually added the oversized Decepticon sticker on this guy because I wanted them to be, as close to each other as humanly possible, though the differences are kind of obvious. I'm not going to get into that. But let's get these guys off screen, and we're going to focus here on my knockoff Megatron. This is really not a bad Megatron. For what it is, to finally see one of these being released outside of Hasbro or Takara is quite something. But I know I'm not the only content creator that had his issues or her issues with this particular Megatron. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out all of the stuff that's in here. Now, I'm not going to apply the labels that came with this because I actually bought a separate sticker sheet off of eBay. Now, watch this thing not want to cooperate. Of course not. Only on YouTube, right, folks? So there's the second or third set of sticker sheets. Let me put that behind there to use as a paperweight so it don't fall over. Okay, now we're in good shape again. So this is what came with it, and there is the, what do you call that there? I always forget the name of these. The label that you can authenticate your Transformers, whether they're Autobots or the rub sign. That's what they call them. I'm brain farting today. Forgive me, folks. I haven't had my caffeine yet, and it's 2:30 in the afternoon, so I got my sugar-free Monster, not sponsored, by the way. So bear with me here if I brain fart through this video. So this is the sticker sheet with the rub sign on there. I might apply the rub sign. I'm not sure just as of yet what I'm going to do. But here's the sticker sheet that came with the knockoff Megatrons, fairly similar, if not almost exactly the same as the OG. And in the various other releases from Takara. Now, here's the sticker sheet that I bought off of eBay. And this one's kind of interesting because if you look carefully, you're going to notice that there's a sticker missing. As you know, this particular knockoff Megatron has many issues with it, and I'll go over that as this video progresses. So let's get Megs out of his box here, or out of the styrofoam without smashing it. And we're going to start applying these stickers in a way that it would have looked back in the 80s when you first bought this guy. I really wasn't intending on doing this, but because I want this to be a really nice display piece, I decided, what the hell, let me go for the gusto. So I know some people are probably going to be screaming that I'm removing this Decepticon symbol, but it's mine to do as I please. And even if I scratch it, it's not going to matter because this is going to be covered. And this is a really good quality sticker too, so this may take me a while. I may have to do a jump edit. That's what it's starting to look like. So let me peel these two stickers off and then we'll keep going with this review. Well, here's Megatron now with those vinyl stickers that I personally applied removed. And let me tell you, if you're a Transformers fan, vinyl is the way to go, because those things, once they're attached, they don't want to come off. Oh my goodness. But anyway, I cleaned this off with rubbing alcohol because there was some residue on here. And let's get them transformed, and then we'll start applying these labels or decals or stickers or however you choose to call them. And then we'll talk about some of the issues that I've already discussed here on the channel. And I know many of my fellow content creators have also brought this up, that there are several issues with this guy that unfortunately make this particular Megatron temperamental. And again, I haven't fixed this yet. That's his right arm, which for whatever reason likes to stick. So I'm going to have to take the right arm apart. And it's just there's issues in here, I guess, with the paint or the mold, that it's just very, very tough to pull apart. So once you get his hands extended, you spin this around, and then of course this makes his chest. Now this is this is actually the biggest problem area with the whole toy, which I discussed here on the channel. First off, everybody's been having problems with this push pin falling out of theirs. I've since crazy glued mine inside here. I took a toothpick and dabbed a little crazy glue onto the pin itself, and then just in case I moved it until I found that, you know, it was secure enough that it didn't come out, and I haven't had any problems with it. So now it's in place. It shouldn't come out anymore. And also, I've noticed everybody else's Megatrons, including mine, has this little dimple on the chest right here. And that's a molding issue, and he did not come with this sticker. That's why you look at this sticker sheet I got off of eBay. It's missing a sticker. So there's only one way to do this. Many of you are probably going to cringe, but in order to get this thing to actually... I've got to be careful because I almost had problems with this the last time. You have to remove... Come on now. You don't want to break it, but you got to apply a little bit of force to it, unfortunately. So there we go. You got to pull that top section off in order to apply this properly, because I tried with a pair of tweezers, which I got right here, to apply this sticker that was missing, and it was just impossible. And then if you look, you're going to see there's a dimple right there. I had to shave that down and shave down the inside here just a little bit. The camera may not pick it up, but you can see there's some scratch marks and stuff on the inside. And that's from whoever decided to reproduce this guy. That's from the mold, I guess. So there's no two ways about it. And of course, as you can see, there's no mechanism for the pellets, like in a Japanese Takara version, which the two of them that I do have, I showed you earlier on in this video. Those actually accept and deploy those pellets. But once you get this all together, now it kind of moves nice and free, which is good. So I highly suggest that if you do find a sticker sheet that has this sticker on it, because as you know, this is missing on all of the bootlegs or knockoffs, you're going to have to shave down those dimples. I think that's actually kind of common with these Megatron knockoffs that were released. So, oops, kind of jumping the gun here a little bit. So you spin all this around, and he kind of collapses into himself. And that's that. And then, of course, we have his fusion cannon, which I'm going to grab right now, which is right here. Let me pan the camera down here a little bit so we can get a better view of him in his current state of affairs. It's not a bad Megatron, but I've noticed the more and more you screw with this knockoff Megatron, he becomes much more loose. And I've already tightened up the screws to such a point that I don't want to strip the screws or make things worse. But, I mean, if you're going to use them as a display piece, you really won't have to worry much because he does stand up on his own devices, which is nice, you know. My actual Megatron, sometimes they tend to lean or their legs flop open, and I guess anybody who collects G1 Megatrons or G1 Transformers knows the issues with these guys. It's not too bad, but this guy seems to want to stay on his center a lot better, which is bizarre, being that this is a bootleg. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start applying some of these labels, and let's see how this turns out. Now, I wanted to mention this before I continue applying these decals. Be very careful and be very patient. Like I said, the most frustrating one was this one right here. You have to pull the entire chest and shoulder apparatus off of him to make sure that this thing can be applied properly. And don't forget to shave down these little divots that are here on his chest. But one of the most difficult things in particular about this Megatron, which I completely forgot about, was that this guy wants to flail around and just go wherever he wants. Now, you're probably looking at the contrast between the chrome and these labels. Since this is a knockoff Megatron, I wanted to make sure that this couldn't be passed off as an authentic Megatron. So as you can tell, the labels aren't as shiny or chrome-like as with the original release, or even with the knockoff sticker sheet, which you see here. It's got a little bit more of a chrome finish to it. So these are more like a vinyl type of material. But, you know, take your time because, man, this guy wants to flail around. I mean, one wrong move, everything just kind of like wants to collapse on you. So, you know, try to have some patience. You know, if you got fingernails or tools or whatever, you may want to dig these labels into their final positions. But this guy definitely wants to flail around. So just be aware of that. It could be a little frustrating. And, you know, if you find you're getting frustrated, stop where you are, get up, walk away, you know, grab yourself, you know, your favorite snack or what have you, and just, you know, give yourself the time and patience to do this. See, like I said, this guy, he's just temperamental, man. Well, he is Megatron. I guess he can do that, but I mean, he's a lot of fun, but geez, man, even for a bootleg, this thing is just such a pain in the rear. It just wants to go wherever it wants to go, how it wants to go, and it could be very stubborn. So I've also noticed that the longer I mess with this thing, the more his fusion cannon wants to just pop off on its own. And I think that's just because of the type of plastic that was used on this guy, because as time goes on, I've noticed that he's just become much more loose, like a wet fish. But regardless and despite that, this is going to be more a display piece inside its box. I have no intention on standing him up with the rest of my Megatrons. I just want something that looks good inside the box. But let's press on, get this guy labeled up, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Now, one thing about this particular sticker sheet, it's really, really wonky the way it's cut. And despite my best efforts to keep everything nice and straight, unfortunately, you know, it's going to sit where it's going to sit, and I don't want to keep peeling it up and reapplying it again, because it will lose its ability to stick. But one thing in particular with this particular sticker sheet, which I also see is present on the actual sticker sheet, which is very close to the original, you can see how short this label is right here. This particular sticker was not like that, so I actually had to physically cut this thing as humanly close as possible to almost cover up this entire hinge. And if you look at it, when I lift up his chest for the transformation, this has to pivot. And that's where that ridiculous pin keeps popping out. Fortunately for me, like I said, I threw some crazy glue on there. I haven't had any problems since, but you may want to keep that in mind. And already I'm seeing a problem, as even though I've already applied this sticker and cut it appropriately, it's already wanting to come off because of this hinge. But again, you know, like I said, I'm going to keep this in a box. This is really going to be more of a display piece for the box in and of itself. So it doesn't have to be so perfect, especially since it's going to be facing towards the left. You won't even see this, but I mean, you know, if you're one of those people that's anal retentive and has OCD and likes their stickers completely aligned, that may be something you may want to pay attention to. So I'm going to keep going and keep putting his labels on, and let's see where this goes. Well, he's coming along pretty well so far. You know, you just need to take your time and be patient with this guy, and just remember that, you know, he's like a wet noodle. He just wants to flop all over the place. So here are the stickers on his skirt. That's so funny. Knockoff stickers on a knockoff Megatron. How quaint. But they don't look that bad. I mean, it is what it is. That's why I chose this particular sticker sheet, because, you know, I want to make sure I can distinguish this thing so that it can't be passed off as an authentic Megatron. But here are the stickers inside of his thighs, right here and right here. And again, you kind of have to take either a straight edge or your thumbnail and kind of like dig that sticker in there. If you want to do some minor microsurgery to these stickers to get them to fit properly, I guess you can if you want to. I'm not going to bother because, like I said, he's going to be a box piece. But, you know, for the sake of the video, of course, I'm going to show off those minor details. So we are making progress. Progress being made on a knockoff Megatron with knockoff stickers. Whoops. That's too funny. Anyway, let's get the show on the road. Well, he's really, really coming together, but man, is he a challenge, because he is so loose in some parts that I had to stop, take a breath, and just take my time. Now, I did get the stickers on the back of his arms on there, but some of these were miscut, in particular down here by the wrist area, so I had to go with a scissor and really carefully cut these labels down here so that they fit, that they don't overhang, because over time they'll end up peeling. Unfortunately, when I was trying to place it down, I was getting phone calls on my phone. That's one of the downsides about recording on a phone, is that, you know, when you're in the middle of, you know, trying to make a video for YouTube and people are calling, you know, it's a big distraction, so you tend to panic a little bit. But I plowed through and I was able to get these labels on, and again, the ones on the wrists were just a little oversized, so I had to trim these just a little bit. You can see, in particular, where this one was giving me, this one in particular gave me a hard time. But now I got it on there. I just have to keep, you know, depressing the label on there so that it stays permanently. But otherwise, you know, didn't come out all that bad. This one, of course, is miscut a little too thin on one side, which is fine. Then we go into the inside of his thighs. All the stickers have now been applied. I couldn't find a good photo of the inside of his thigh, and I really didn't want to waste any more time on this guy. So I just put them where it was aesthetically pleasing. Hopefully I got it right. I mean, again, it's a knockoff, so who really cares? You know what I mean? But with all the labels on there, with that being said, it really brings this figure to life. And there's his fusion cannon with the proper labels on there. We have his targeting mechanism. I guess you can call that what that is. That's on there. I mean, it don't look all that bad, to tell you the truth. It looks like an actual, authentic G1 Megatron, but we know better. So let's get to the big cannon, and we'll put him in gun mode. We'll transform him back into his robot mode, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so we got to his stock and silencer, and right here you can see that this sticker is completely miscut on one side. Even when I jam my finger in there to try to make it look square, it still doesn't look right. But, I mean, who cares? Again, it's a knockoff. It serves its purpose. Who cares? There's the other set of stickers applied to the stock. And there's the silencer. And now it's time to transform him into his boomstick, and then we'll get him back in a robot form, and I'll give you my final thoughts. And there he is in all of his Mega Gun glory. I'm sorry, but I am pro G1 Megatron, and to see him in his Walther P38 form, to me, it's just so classic. But now that he's got stickers applied, I mean, obviously you can tell something's different with these stickers, because these should actually match the chrome. But again, we're talking about a knockoff Megatron using knockoff stickers. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I might open up a wormhole here on my kitchen countertop, but I mean, it works really well. Again, the mechanism doesn't fire, so you don't have to worry about pellets spraying all over the place. I mean, for what it is, it's not all that bad, to tell you the truth. This is a little annoying, though. But again, I'm not really going to nitpick it too much. It's a knockoff. It's going to be a display piece sitting on my shelf here in the living room. But at least you get the look, vibe, and feel of what I want to say a proper G1 Megatron should be. So let's get him back in his robot mode, and I'll give you my final thoughts on the whole process. Well, here he is, all done up, all stickered up, and I have to say, it's a mixed bag still. He's not that bad. If you've never owned a G1 Megatron, you want to go this route, that's fine. It's your money to do with as you please. If you're able to get a Japanese Takara reissue, you might want to go down that route. But if you really don't care and you're just looking for a display piece to complete your collection or what have you, this is definitely the way to go. It does have issues, like I said, throughout the last video and this video, you have to be aware of. And something I discovered in this video is that when you try to put his big cannon together, this is not molded correctly for whatever reason, so it just wants to come in and out as it pleases, which kind of sucks. And this was extremely tight to get in. I was afraid I was going to break this. So at least it's like that on my copy, and you can actually see where it's like kind of favoring this top section here than the bottom, and I don't want to push it in there, you know, with the fear of me not being able to get it back out again. But I mean, it assembles properly. It doesn't have the firing mechanism, you know, what have you, but I mean, there it is. I don't know what else to say. But if you're able to get a Takara reissue, excuse me, I would highly recommend it. But if you're looking to pinch a couple pennies, just know what you're getting yourself into. Mine actually came in 2 separate boxes. Again, I did a whole review of this guy previously on the channel. It's not bad, but it's got its problems. You know, with the push pin down here, for example, which many of my fellow content creators have discussed. I've since crazy glued mine in. And in this video, you saw how I removed this entire top section just to get that sticker in there, because that did not come with the robot, and it's supposed to come with that robot. And except for, you know, the arms being a little stiff, it's not bad. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what to think of this guy. I mean, I'm going to transform him back into his gun mode and then put him up on display on my living room shelf. Would I have this as part of your, you know, your tried and true collection with the rest of your G1 stuff? And I know there's been a ton of reissues of these guys. That is completely subjective. I can't tell you guys and gals what to do with your collections. You know, I'm just a simple guy. You know, I'm not the end-all, be-all of Transformers collecting. So, you know, you do what you want with your stuff. You display your stuff how you want. You buy your stuff as you want. But, yeah, I mean, it's not a bad Megatron, but it's very temperamental. So just take your time with this thing. You know, you can probably get them for like $100 or something like that on eBay. I know reissues and even some of the originals can cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So, you know, again, that's up to you. Spend your money how you want. Just buyer beware with this guy. It does come with issues, but all in all, it could be a lot worse because there are way, way worse bootlegs than this. But this guy does fit the bill, and it's about time that they did something like this. I just wish that these people would get off their high horses and stop this nonsense with toy guns. They're goddamn toy guns. The responsibility should be in the hands of the parents to keep an eye on their kids when they're playing with these things. You know, obviously, I'm a grown adult. I'm not going to be running around in the street or playing in the dirt in front of my home, you know, playing pew-pew Transformers. That's not me. You know, but you know, when you're dealing with your kids, man, be a little bit more mindful with them, you know, especially police today. And trust me, I know what I'm talking about, are completely unhinged and lawless themselves. They're very quick to pull their guns, you know, before talking. So just be aware of that. I'm not saying to fear the police. What I'm saying is that many of them, I feel, don't have the mental facilities to actually be police because they're very quick to draw their weapons on innocent people for no reason. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about. So with that being said, you know, if you got kids, you want to buy this for your kids, just make sure they play with this indoors. That's all I'm saying. I see no reason why me as a grown adult can't own one of these. And now I have 3 of them. There's the Goodbye Oops, I don't want them to fall. There's the Goodbye Megatron. And then, of course, we have my 16 Special Megatron from Takara. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Megatron away. This is a great figure, but, you know, again, it's a mixed bag. So, all right, everybody, that's the end of this video. Thank you for checking it out. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications. Also, check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in the description box below. And, of course, subscribe. I will see you all very, very soon.